Okay, we need to talk about what just happened with Jim Carrey, because he just revealed some of the most shocking and scandalous things we've heard about the Epstein handlers. And heads up, it gets really dark. Fans figured something was up when he popped up in Paris looking like a whole new person. And while we were wondering what was going on, it turns out that he is on the run because some very powerful people on the list are after him. And get this, not only are they supposedly planning to unalive him, but Jim also exposed an insane conspiracy to clone him, so he doesn't reveal what is really going on. And when you remember how hard he's pushed against the dark side of Hollywood in the past, you start to realize how dangerous this situation really is. So what does Jim really know about the Epstein files? And has Hollywood really been out here cloning celebs this entire time? Let's break it down. Y'all, it looks like Jim has been going through it secretly for a hot minute because the things he just revealed are crazy, to say the least. Y'all know how the internet has been running wild with conspiracy theories that Jim has somehow been cloned by the powerful people who run Hollywood. Well, Jim finally has something to say about the rumors. And well, let's just say that it's worse and creepier than anything you could imagine. Okay, so the rumors started after he attended an award show in Paris, and fans couldn't help but notice how different he looked from his usual self.
Really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy. But, it's, then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards. And I was like, I'm dead.
When we first saw the interview, our first thought was, who on earth is that? Because there was no way that could be Jim Carrey. At least not the Jim Carrey we've seen on TV for more than 20 years. But surprise, surprise, it was indeed Jim. However, fans still had a hard time believing that it was him because he looked so different. The internet started pulling up videos of him from as recent as a couple of months ago, pointing out just how different he looked. This fan tweeted, "These two videos are 4 months apart. You cannot tell an entire generation of people that watch this man's face on repeat for over 2 decades that the person in the second video in Paris is Jim Carrey. Am I crazy? Where is Jim Carrey?" They continued, 4 months apart, different eyes, different eye color, different brow shape. Teeth are different. It's not age or surgery. Sounds different, acts different, it's a different person. And that's exactly why the whole thing feels uncanny. It's not just about him looking different. I mean, this is Hollywood we're talking about, and y'all's favorite celebs are always having new faces every 5 business days. So as uncanny as Jim looked, that wasn't the only thing that threw people off. I mean, how many celebs have been known to pop up with a new face and a new personality in only a few weeks? Even when Kris Jenner had her facelift last year, she was still the same woman, but somehow, Jim had an entire personality change and went from being a guy who barely hates being in the public eye or on the red carpet.
They're celebrating.
You gotta admit, it's completely meaningless.
Well, they say they're celebrating icons inside.
Celebrating
Do you believe
icons.
in
Boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we could come up with. I believe that it's deeper than that. I believe we're a field of energy dancing for itself. And I don't care.
So what's happening in our world right now? Because there is a lot of news that actually is relevant that's not that
Here's
uplifting.
the thing. It's not our world.
None
That's
of this
the
is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just...
To someone who was so excited to be on the red carpet.
And I made mistakes and I was like a novice, but I felt a lot of love and I felt a lot of appreciation that I tried and what I said was true.
The math just isn't mathing. I mean, this is the same guy who used his award wins to send some very strong messages.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is.
So honestly, it isn't surprising that fans started to speculate that he had been cloned. The rumors were so strong that Jim's publicist had to come forward to deny that he had been cloned. They released a statement that said, "Jim Carrey's visit has been planned since this summer. From the outset, he was extremely touched by the Academy's invitation. 8 months of ongoing constructive discussions. He came with his partner, his daughter, his grandson, and 12 close friends and family members. His longtime big-time publicist accompanied him. But as it turns out, there's more to the story than the publicist said. According to an insider, there is a reason Jim popped up with a new face just when the Epstein files started dropping. The insider claimed that Jim knew some really bad things about a lot of people in the Epstein files, and given his history of spilling the tea on the shady parts of Hollywood, it seems like the powerful people on the list were not willing to take the chance that his conscience would kick in and make him feel guilty enough to expose them. Allegedly, there were multiple attempts on his life, and even plans to clone him after he was unalived, just so fans don't put two and two together and figure out that Jim had been silenced. But there's more, because it all relates to the plastic surgery that Jim had done. Allegedly, he's trying to botch up his face as much as he can, so if they ever take him out and try to clone him, his face is going to be too botched for them to do that. And then we would know that he had really been cloned. It's a hot mess, but given the things that Jim knows, it only makes sense that he would go above and beyond to protect himself, no matter how crazy things get. Jim first started to spill the tea about Hollywood back in 2014 when he appeared on the Jimmy Kimmel Show sporting a hand signal that he claimed was the sign of the Illuminati. He then went on to talk about how everyone in the industry knows what these signs are, but they just pretend not to because they're scared of the backlash.
I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it. It needs a scraping.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue, and I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man, you know what I mean?
Even more disturbing was when Jim said the government hires talk show hosts and celebrities to distract people from these rituals.
For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things.
Interestingly, Jimmy disappeared from the public eye for a while soon after that. The media then started trying to shake his credibility by painting him as depressed and crazy. But he returned to the Jimmy Kimmel Show to clear the air, saying he decided to grow a beard and leave the spotlight because he was tired of being forced to play a character he wasn't.
How's life? Everything good?
You know, it's so beautiful. It really is, especially when I'm absent from it.
Do you feel like you're separated from the rest of the world and what's going on?
No, not separated at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You know, don't get me wrong, you know, Jim Carrey is a great character, and I was lucky to get the part. But I don't think of that as me anymore.
You don't? Not at all?
Not really.
It was real bold of him to call out the movers and shakers of Hollywood as he did, and he suffered for it big time. A few months after he spilled the tea, his partner at the time, Cathriona White, suddenly took her own life. She also left behind a note where she accused Jim of manipulating her and giving her different STIs, including herpes and HPV. Her note, in part, reads, "Before you, I might not have had very much, but I had respect. I met you. You introduced me to mental torture and disease. Being with you broke me down as a person. I was promised Jekyll, and instead, I got Hyde. Because I love you, I would have stuck out Hyde all year and done everything he wanted to be with Jekyll for 5 of those. But you threw me away when you absorbed anything worthwhile that was left of me." So this was Cathriona accusing him of using and manipulating her, and she claimed that it was one of the reasons that drove her to take her life. Of course, Jim denied all these statements and instead tried to play the story as Cathriona being mentally unstable. But things soon got worse for him because it was discovered that he had actually provided Cathriona with the that she used to take her life. The drugs were identified as Ambien, propranolol, and Percocet. But somehow, that's not even the worst part of it, because he had gotten the under a fake name, Arthur King. Even though he claimed that he used a fake name for privacy reasons, many people didn't believe him, and there are still many people who remain convinced that something shady was going on. Well, now sources are saying that Cathriona didn't really take her life, but she was unalived to send a warning to Jim about what would happen if he kept exposing secrets. And just to make sure that he got the message, they came this close to setting him up and making him take the fall, only to make the case go away at the last possible minute. Really goes to show how powerful and dangerous these people are. And according to another insider, Jim is not the only celeb who has gotten close warnings. Y'all remember when Jamie Foxx suddenly fell critically ill and everyone thought that it was Diddy's doing? Well, it turns out that Diddy had nothing to do with it. A few days before he suddenly fell ill, Jamie was named as a potential witness in the trial of Fugees rapper Pras Michel, who was facing charges of bribery, corruption, and a whole lot of other things. Actor Leonardo DiCaprio was invited to testify in the trial, and according to sources, attorneys named actors including Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, and Mark Wahlberg as possible witnesses, in addition to director Martin Scorsese. Allegedly, Jamie knew something very incriminating and had plans to testify, but he was almost taken out, which sent a very strong message to everyone else to keep their mouth shut or else. Jim knows just how dangerous the situation is, and if he's willing to go as far as to botch his own face, we should all be concerned. So when you zoom out and look at everything, from the red carpet transformation to the old warnings he dropped on national television, from the sudden tragedies around him to the resurfacing names tied to Jeffrey Epstein, things suddenly get really dark. And now, fans are asking, what happens to celebrities who know too much, and how far would the machine go to keep them quiet?